This year's Iron Bowl is history, and despite all the animosity Auburn and Alabama fans might feel towards each other after the game, that hasn't stopped the men who played in the game from teaming up and doing some good things. Darryl Fuhrman is here from Lettermen of the Iron Bowl to tell me more about it. Darryl, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. It's good to meet you. Tell us really quickly, Lettermen of the Iron Bowl, who are you guys? I know it's obvious, but it's going to be fun for you to say.
Well, it's former Alabama and Auburn players who have a great sense of need to give back to their community, who at one point in time, after the storms of 2011, we actually put on a football game that raised $50,000 for the Governor's Emergency Relief Fund. And what we realized in that cooperation with each other is that we could go further. We realized that there were massive projects here in the state that we could help out with, because it's a large platform. When you've got the crimson jersey and the blue jersey working together, there's doors that you can open that nobody else can, and we've been able to do that thus far in a very big way. I mean, getting a United States Senator on board with you early on, that's pretty impressive stuff, you know. And I mean, I want to say I didn't do it. It's just that things are happening that sometimes you just can't explain.
There you go. Now, was that Senator Sessions or Senator Shelby?
That's Senator Richard Shelby. I actually...
You'll have Senator Sessions soon enough. I feel pretty positive about that. Darryl, before we get on to what you guys are doing with feeding people, you guys have another great thing that you're doing. It's Autographs for Heroes. Tell us about that.
Autographs for Heroes. It originally started out following a young man on Facebook by the name of Josh Wetzel from Glencoe, Alabama. And a few of the guys were saying, you know, we want to thank him in our own Lettermen of the Iron Bowl way. What can we do? And some of us came up with the idea, well, he's an Auburn fan, so let's get him an autographed football from Auburn. And so I approached a gentleman by the name of Wayne Salem, who played for Auburn. His brother Jimbo Salem and cousin George Salem played with me here at Alabama, so there's a lot of connections. And just to go one step further, their dad, Ed Salem, was on the 48 team that's, I guess, stomped a mud hole in Auburn. But anyway, we'll get back to the story. And I went to these gentlemen, and they said, let's do that. Let's get them up. We'll get Coach Pat Sullivan to sign a football. And so we presented that to Josh the day he came home. It was one of those things where we didn't know what we were doing. We just kind of lucked into it. If you can imagine getting through TSA in 3 minutes to be able to meet the young man at the gate, that was incredible. I mean, I've never been able to get through TSA in 30 minutes.
No one else has either, yeah.
3 minutes. And so I basically presented him with the ball. And I said, Josh, if you don't mind, an old Alabama football player presenting with a couple of Auburn great signatures, I'd be honored to do so. Welcome home, and thank you for your service to this republic. And I had no more done that, and I turned around, and Senator Richard Shelby says, Darryl, what you doing? And I told him, well, introduce me to that warrior. I said, yes, sir. And I introduced him, and he came back and he said, now how can I help you? And that's where the ball really started rolling for us. And the real great story for Autographs for Heroes is this one. We found out on November 16th a young man would be coming home. His name is Corey Garman. And Corey is a double amputee who also has part of his hand, I think, missing as well. And this young man is impressive. He's from Sardis, Alabama. He was quarterback there. And the one part we didn't have in the puzzle is that his dad was a football coach, and he used to attend the University of Florida football camps down there, the coaching clinics. And so in the course of about 10:30 that night on Tuesday, we found out this young man was a Florida fan. Well, this is a challenge. When we told Shelby we'd place footballs in Alabama and Auburn fans' hands, they were wounded warriors, we never thought about a Florida guy.
Right.
So I got on the phone, and this is a great story. And I said, guys, do we want to take this on? I called the guys in Orlando, Florida, and Panhandle, and Enterprise, and Mobile, and they all said, yeah, let's go for it. They all had that, especially my teammate Desmond Hallman in Orlando, Florida. He said, man, this is gut check time. So we went for it. And I remember, I'm gonna plug Kermit Kendricks next. I went to bed Wednesday morning at 1:30 a.m. and I didn't have a football. And I remember Kermit Kendricks in the Iron Bowl said right before Van kicked the field goal, he said, well, Lord, if you just got one more in you. So I told Kermit, I prayed his prayer at the Iron Bowl. I said, Lord, if you just got one more in you, that's all I need. By Wednesday evening at 6 p.m., we had not one football, but two coming from the University of Florida, signed by Will Muschamp and through the help of the Gator Boosters down there.
There you go. That's super. Darryl, we are out of time, but buddy, I want to have you back on, and I'm going to tell the folks at home about your event that you're having real soon. Veterans of the Iron Bowl are teaming up with firefighters, Lettermen of the Iron Bowl, I'm sorry, are teaming up with firefighters to help feed the homeless on Saturday, December 15th. At the Firehouse Shelter on 15th Street and 3rd Avenue North in Birmingham. That starts at 4 p.m. You can find out more online at lettermenoftheironbowl.com/WordPress or on Facebook. Just search for Lettermen of the Iron Bowl.
All uppercase except for the of the.
There you go.